My name is Daniel Cooper, and 3 months ago, I thought I knew everything about our solar system. I was wrong. Dead wrong. What I'm about to tell you will sound crazy. You'll probably think I've lost my mind. But every word is true. It started with a strange message on my computer screen at 3:47 a.m. The message said, "The sun is not what you think it is." I almost deleted it. I wish I had. Because once you learn the truth about what's really hiding inside our sun, there's no going back. Your whole understanding of reality changes forever. They're watching us. They've always been watching us. And they're not happy that I'm telling you this story. But someone needs to know. Someone needs to understand what's coming. Because in exactly 7 days, everything on Earth is going to change. The secret that's been hidden for thousands of years is about to come out. And I'm the only person who can stop what's about to happen. This is how I discovered the truth about the Solarians. This is how I met the alien who warned me. And this is how I learned that our sun isn't just a burning ball of gas. It's home. Before we continue with what happens next, if you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload. We share inspiring stories like this every single week that will blow your mind. I work as a software engineer at DataStream Technologies in Portland, Oregon. Nothing exciting. I write code for banking apps, drink too much coffee, and live alone in a small apartment with my cat, Professor Whiskers. My life was perfectly normal and perfectly boring. Every morning, I wake up at 6:30 a.m., make breakfast, and bike to work. My boss, Margaret Sullivan, is tough but fair. My coworker, Jake Morrison, tells the same bad jokes every single day. My other coworker, Lisa Chen, always brings homemade cookies on Fridays. We're a small team of 12 people working on updating security software. I'm good at my job, but I'm not passionate about it. What I really love is astronomy. Every clear night, I go to my apartment rooftop with my telescope and look at the stars. I've been obsessed with space since I was 8 years old when my dad took me to a planetarium. He died 5 years ago, but I still feel close to him when I look up at the night sky. My apartment is filled with star charts, astronomy books, and pictures of planets. My friends think it's weird that a 32-year-old man gets so excited about space. My ex-girlfriend, Rachel, left me because she said I cared more about stars than people. Maybe she was right. But here's the thing about space that most people don't understand. It's full of mysteries. Scientists don't have all the answers. They pretend they do, but they don't. The universe is huge and strange, and we've barely explored any of it. 3 months ago, on June 15th, I started working on a special project. DataStream had partnered with NASA to create a new data analysis program. My job was to build software that could process information from space telescopes faster than ever before. It was the most exciting assignment of my career. I spent weeks writing code, testing it, and fixing bugs. Margaret kept checking on my progress, pushing me to work faster. NASA is counting on us, Daniel, she'd say. This could put our company on the map. I worked late nights, surviving on energy drinks and leftover pizza. Jake made fun of me for being so dedicated. "Dude, it's just code," he'd say. "Take a break." But I couldn't. This was my chance to contribute to real space exploration. On September 3rd, my software finally went live. NASA connected it to their Deep Space Observation Network. Suddenly, I had access to data from telescopes all over the world. I could see information about distant galaxies, solar flares, and cosmic radiation patterns. It was like having a backstage pass to the universe. I spent hours after work analyzing the data, looking for interesting patterns. Most of it was normal stuff, stars being born, asteroids moving through space, the usual cosmic activity. But on September 10th, at 11:23 p.m., I noticed something weird. There was a signal coming from the direction of the sun. Not from the sun itself, but from the area around it. The signal was repeating every 7 minutes and 43 seconds. It wasn't natural. Natural cosmic phenomena don't repeat with that kind of precision. I ran the data through every filter I could think of. Maybe it was interference from a satellite. Maybe it was a glitch in my software. But no matter how I tested it, the signal remained. It was real, and it was impossible. The next morning, I showed my findings to Margaret. She looked at the data for about 30 seconds and shrugged. Probably just noise from the equipment, she said. Don't waste time on it. We have real work to do. I showed Jake and Lisa. Jake laughed. Maybe it's aliens trying to call us, he joked. Lisa was more sympathetic but equally dismissive. The sun is super hot and chaotic, she explained. Lots of weird signals come from that area. It doesn't mean anything. But I couldn't let it go. I'm stubborn that way. Every night after work, I'd go home and study the signal. I started recording it, tracking its patterns, and trying to decode it. My apartment became a mess of printouts, charts, and empty coffee cups. Professor Whiskers would sit on my desk, watching me work with judgmental green eyes. I know I'm obsessed, I'd tell him. But what if it's something important? What if everyone is wrong? 2 weeks passed. The signal continued, unchanging and unexplained. I stopped going to the rooftop with my telescope. I stopped hanging out with friends. I barely slept. Margaret noticed and pulled me aside. Daniel, you look terrible, she said with genuine concern. Is everything okay? I'm fine, I lied. Just tired. Take a day off, she suggested. Rest. The NASA project is going great. You've earned a break. I nodded, but I had no intention of resting. That night, September 24th, I stayed up until 4 a.m. trying to decode the signal. I ran it through language analysis programs, mathematical pattern recognition, and even music composition software. Nothing worked. At 3:47 a.m., completely exhausted and ready to give up, something happened. My computer screen went black. Then, bright green text appeared. Stop looking for US. It's not safe. My heart nearly exploded. I jumped back from my desk so hard that I knocked over my chair. Professor Whiskers bolted under the bed. The message stayed on the screen for exactly 10 seconds, then disappeared. My normal desktop returned as if nothing had happened. I sat there, breathing hard, wondering if I'd imagined it. Maybe I was so tired that I was hallucinating. I checked my computer's history, logs, and security systems. There was no record of any external access. No virus, no hack, nothing. According to my computer, that message never existed. But I knew what I saw. Someone, or something, had just warned me. And that meant the signal wasn't random noise. It meant I'd found something real. Something dangerous. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. Because I realized that my boring, normal life was about to end. And whatever was hiding near the sun didn't want to be found. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I couldn't focus on banking software when my entire understanding of reality was crumbling. I spent the day researching everything I could find about mysterious signals from space, government cover-ups, and unexplained solar phenomena. Most of what I found was garbage. Conspiracy theory websites run by people who thought the moon landing was fake. But buried in all the nonsense, I found a few interesting stories. Scientists who'd reported strange readings from the sun and then suddenly went quiet. Research papers that got pulled from journals without explanation. A NASA employee who quit abruptly in 2019 after working on solar observation projects. At 2:15 p.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello. Daniel Cooper. The voice was female, calm, and had a strange accent I couldn't place. Yes. Who is this? My name is Maya Torres. I work in private aerospace research. I've been monitoring your analysis of the solar anomaly. We need to meet. Today. My blood ran cold. How do you know about that? That data is supposed to be secure. Nothing is secure, Daniel. Meet me at Riverside Park, near the fountain, at 5 p.m. Come alone. Don't tell anyone. This is for your own safety. Wait, I don't. She hung up. I sat there, staring at my phone. Every instinct told me this was dangerous. This could be a trap. Maybe I should call the police. Maybe I should tell Margaret. But another part of me, the part that had spent years dreaming about discovering something amazing, needed to know the truth. At 4:45 p.m., I took the bus to Riverside Park. The whole ride, I kept looking over my shoulder, expecting to see government agents or mysterious men in black suits. But I just saw normal people, moms with strollers, teenagers on skateboards, old men reading newspapers. The park was busy with joggers and dog walkers. I found the fountain and waited, trying to look casual while my heart hammered in my chest. Professor Whiskers had seemed worried when I left the apartment, like he knew something bad was about to happen. At exactly 5 p.m., a woman approached. She was in her 40s, wearing jeans and a dark jacket, with short black hair and intense brown eyes. She sat next to me on the bench without introduction. Daniel Cooper, software engineer, lives alone, obsessed with astronomy since childhood. Father deceased. No close family. Predictable habits. Easy to track. I felt sick. You've been watching me. Not me personally. But yes, you've been under observation since you first detected the signal. She pulled out a small device that looked like a phone but wasn't. She tapped it twice. We have 5 minutes before they realize I've disabled their surveillance. Listen carefully and don't interrupt. Who's they? A group that monitors all communication related to the sun. They have people embedded in every major space agency, research institution, and tech company worldwide. When you discovered the signal, you triggered multiple alert systems. Right now, at least 4 different organizations know who you are. My mouth went dry. What do they want? To make sure you stay quiet. The signal you found? It's real. It's a communication beacon from a civilization that lives in the sun's chromosphere. They're called the Solarians. They've been there for at least 50,000 years, maybe longer. I laughed. I couldn't help it. That's impossible. The sun is millions of degrees hot. Nothing can survive. Nothing made of matter as you understand it, Maya interrupted. The Solarians exist in a state between energy and matter. They're not biological like us. They're something else entirely. And they've been watching Earth for millennia, making sure we don't destroy ourselves before we're ready. Ready for what? First contact. Full disclosure. Integration into the galactic community. She checked her device. 3 minutes left. Daniel, you're in danger. The people who protect this secret don't negotiate. They've silenced dozens of researchers over the years. Car accidents, sudden illnesses, disappearances. You need to stop investigating and delete all your data. But why contact me if you want me to stop? Because you deserve to know the truth before they erase it from your mind. There's a facility in Nevada where they take people who learn too much. They use experimental technology to remove specific memories. It's not perfect. People end up damaged, confused, different. I've seen it happen. Her voice cracked slightly. It happened to my brother. I'm sorry, but this sounds insane. How do you know all this? Maya stood up. I was one of them. I worked for the organization for 8 years before my brother paid the price for my curiosity. I've been in hiding for 2 years, trying to help people who stumble onto the truth. She handed me a small USB drive. This contains evidence. Documents, photos, recordings. Proof that the Solarians are real and that governments worldwide have known about them since 1952. Study it. Then destroy it and forget everything. Wait, I grabbed her arm. If this is real, why keep it secret? Why not tell everyone? Because humanity isn't ready. We're violent, divided, and unpredictable. The Solarians are peaceful, but they're also powerful beyond imagination. If the wrong people knew about them, they'd try to weaponize that knowledge or provoke a conflict we couldn't win. The secret has been kept to protect Earth, not control it. At least, that was the original intention. And now it's about power, money, control. The people managing the secret have become corrupt. They've forgotten the original mission. That's why someone like me exists, to balance the scales. She pulled her arm free. You have a choice, Daniel. Walk away and live a normal life, or dig deeper and risk everything. Choose wisely. She walked away quickly, disappearing into the crowd before I could respond. I sat there holding the USB drive, my hands shaking. Part of me wanted to throw it in the fountain and pretend this conversation never happened. But I knew I wouldn't. I couldn't. I went home, locked my door, closed all my curtains, and plugged the USB drive into my laptop. What I saw over the next 3 hours changed everything. Photos of metallic structures in the sun's corona, visible only in specific wavelengths. Audio recordings of NASA scientists discussing the solar inhabitants in hushed, worried tones. Government memos from 1952 marked cosmic top secret, describing first contact with non-human intelligence residing in stellar plasma. Testimony from astronauts who'd seen unusual activity near the sun during missions. And most disturbing, a list of names. 37 researchers who'd gotten too close to the truth. Next to each name was a date and a single word, neutralized. I felt cold all over. This was real. All of it was real. At 11:34 p.m., my apartment's lights flickered. Then my computer screen changed. The same green text from before appeared. We warned you to stop. Now you've involved others. Meet US tomorrow at 2 a.m. Coordinates will be sent. Come alone or everyone you love will suffer. Below the message, GPS coordinates appeared. A location in the forest outside Portland. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. They know about Maya. They're coming for her tonight. This is your fault. You should have listened. I dropped my phone. My whole body was shaking. This wasn't an adventure anymore. This wasn't exciting. People were going to die because I couldn't leave the signal alone. Professor Whiskers jumped onto my lap, purring, trying to comfort me. I held him tight, wondering what I'd gotten myself into. 24 hours ago, my biggest problem was debugging code. Now I was caught between alien beings who lived in the sun and shadowy organizations who killed to protect secrets. The coordinates glowed on my screen. A meeting at 2 a.m. in the middle of nowhere. I had 13 hours to decide if I was brave enough or stupid enough to go. I didn't sleep. I paced my apartment, looking at those coordinates, thinking about Maya and her warning. By 1 a.m., I'd made my decision. I had to go. Not because I was brave, but because I'd already dragged someone else into danger. If Maya got hurt because of me, I'd never forgive myself. I left Professor Whiskers extra food and water. If I don't come back, I told him, Mrs. Patterson next door has a key. She'll take care of you. He meowed like he understood, which made everything worse. The coordinates led to Forest Peak Trail, about 40 minutes outside Portland. I drove my old Honda Civic through empty streets, constantly checking my mirrors for cars following me. The city lights faded behind me, replaced by dark trees and winding roads. I parked at the trailhead at 1:52 a.m. My headlights illuminated the trail entrance, a narrow dirt path disappearing into thick woods. I grabbed my phone, which still had the coordinates, and a flashlight from my emergency kit. The forest was completely silent. No birds, no insects, nothing. Just my footsteps crunching on leaves and my own nervous breathing. I followed the GPS for about 20 minutes, going deeper into the woods than any sane person would go at night. At exactly 2 a.m., I reached the coordinates. A small clearing surrounded by tall pine trees. Moonlight filtered through the branches, creating strange shadows. I stood in the center, turning slowly, looking for whoever had sent the message. Hello. My voice sounded small and scared. For a full minute, nothing happened. I wondered if this was a sick joke. Then the air in front of me began to shimmer, like heat waves on summer pavement. The shimmer grew brighter, taking shape. A figure appeared. It was humanoid but definitely not human. About 7 feet tall, with smooth gray skin that seemed to glow faintly. Large black eyes that reflected the moonlight. Long, thin fingers with an extra joint. No hair, no nose, just a small mouth and slits where ears should be. I stumbled backward, nearly falling. My brain couldn't process what I was seeing. Every childhood dream about meeting aliens crashed into stark, terrifying reality. "Do not be afraid, Daniel Cooper." The voice came directly into my head, not through my ears. It was calm and emotionless. "We mean you no harm. We are here to deliver a warning." You're a Solarian." I managed to say. "No. We are Zeta. We come from the star system you call Zeta Reticuli. We have been monitoring Earth on behalf of the Solarians for the past 300 of your years." "Why? What do the Solarians want?" The being's head tilted slightly. "The Solarians do not want. They observe. They guide. But they cannot directly interfere with developing species. That is forbidden by the Galactic Accord. So they employ intermediaries like us." "The Galactic what?" "There is much you do not understand. Please listen." The Zeta raised one hand, and a holographic display appeared in the air between us. I saw our sun, but not like in any astronomy book. Inside the brilliant surface, I could see structures, massive geometric patterns made of light and energy, moving with purpose. The Solarians are not biological beings. They evolved from pure energy plasma billions of years ago. They exist inside stars, using stellar fusion as their power source and home. Your sun contains 17 distinct Solarian communities, with a total population of approximately 3 million individuals. My legs felt weak. I sat down hard on the forest floor. 3 million, inside our sun. Correct. They have lived there since before your planet formed. They watched as Earth developed life. They protected your world from several extinction-level threats, asteroids, solar flares, cosmic radiation bursts. Without their intervention, humanity would not exist. Then why keep it secret? Why not just tell us? The hologram changed, showing images of Earth's history, wars, weapons, destruction. Because your species is violent and unpredictable. The Solarians calculated that revealing their existence would cause mass panic, religious upheaval, and possibly nuclear war. They decided to wait until humanity achieved a certain level of maturity. And have we? No. By Solarian standards, you remain dangerously primitive. But circumstances have changed. That is why I am here. The hologram shifted again, now showing what looked like a massive ship approaching our solar system. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen, organic and mechanical at the same time, with sections that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. 73 days from now, this vessel will arrive at Earth. It belongs to a species called the Vorlax. They are conquerors. They have destroyed 17 civilizations in the past 2,000 years. They are coming to claim Earth's resources and enslave your population. I felt like I was going to throw up. Can't the Solarians stop them? The Solarians are powerful but pacifistic. They will not engage in violence, even to save your world. Instead, they sent us to warn you. Humanity must prepare. Your governments must unite. Your weapons must be upgraded with technology we will provide. You have less than 3 months to get ready for a war you cannot possibly understand. But I'm nobody. I shouted, standing up. I'm just a software engineer. Why tell me? Why not contact the President or the United Nations or someone important? We tried. 12 years ago, we made contact with your world leaders. We provided evidence, technology, and warnings about future threats. In exchange, they agreed to keep our existence secret until humanity was ready for disclosure. They created organizations to manage this knowledge and protect the truth. The same organizations that have been killing researchers. The Zeta's expression didn't change, but I sensed something like sadness. Power corrupts. The humans tasked with protecting the secret began using it for personal gain. They suppressed beneficial technology that we shared. They silenced anyone who got close to the truth. They forgot that the secret was meant to protect humanity, not control it. So why contact me now? Because the Solarians have lost patience with your leaders. They have decided to bypass official channels. You discovered their signal through honest curiosity and scientific observation. You have no political affiliations, no corporate interests, no personal agenda. You are what your people call an ordinary person. The Solarians believe ordinary people should know the truth before the Vorlax arrive. What am I supposed to do with this information? Document everything. Share it. Use your technology skills to spread the message before the organizations can stop you. Maya Torres was our contact, but she has been compromised. You are now our primary link to humanity. Maya, is she okay? She is safe. We moved her to a protected location 2 hours ago, but she cannot continue her work. That responsibility falls to you now. I ran my hands through my hair, trying to process everything. Aliens in the sun. An invasion fleet. Secret organizations. And somehow I was supposed to save the world by posting stuff online? This is insane. No one will believe me. They'll think I'm crazy. Some will believe. That is sufficient. We do not need everyone. Only enough to create pressure on your governments to take action. The evidence I am providing will be undeniable. The Zeta touched my phone, which was still in my hand. Instantly, files began transferring, gigabytes of data, videos, photos, documents. This is everything. Proof of the Solarians. Proof of the Vorlax threat. Technology schematics that your scientists can verify. Testimony from the original contact in 1952. Satellite images showing the Vorlax ship approaching. Everything your world needs to prepare. The transfer finished. My phone felt heavier somehow, like it was carrying the weight of human civilization's future. You have 48 hours before the organizations discover you have this data. Use that time wisely. Find trusted partners. Create backups in multiple locations. Begin spreading the information through channels they cannot immediately shut down. And then what? Then you survive. Or you don't. But you will have given humanity a chance. That is more than you had before tonight. The Zeta began to fade, its form becoming transparent. Wait. I called out. How do I contact you if I need help? You cannot. This is the only time we will meet in person. From now on, you are on your own. Choose your allies carefully, Daniel Cooper. Trust is rare and precious in the days ahead. The being disappeared completely, leaving me alone in the dark forest with a phone full of world-changing secrets and absolutely no idea what to do next. I stood there for a long time, just breathing, trying to convince myself this was real and not some elaborate hallucination. Finally, I checked my phone. The files were there, hundreds of them, organized into folders labeled Solarian Evidence, Vorlax Threat Assessment, Technology Transfers, and Contact Protocols. I opened one video file at random. It showed what appeared to be a NASA control room from 1952, in black and white. Scientists in old-fashioned suits gathered around monitoring equipment, and on their screens was clear footage of geometric light patterns inside the sun, the Solarian structures. The audio was scratchy but audible. My God, they're talking to us. They're actually talking to us. I closed the video, overwhelmed. This was real. All of it was real. I started walking back to my car, my mind racing. Who could I trust? Not my co-workers. They'd think I was having a breakdown. Not my friends. They'd try to get me committed. Not the police. They were probably infiltrated by the organizations. By the time I reached my car, I'd made a decision. There was one group of people who might listen, who were used to investigating impossible things and who had platforms to spread information fast. Investigative journalists. I drove home as the sun started rising, painting the sky orange and pink. I looked at that sunrise differently now. Our sun wasn't just a ball of fire. It was home to millions of beings who'd been protecting us for thousands of years. And in 73 days, our world would change forever. Whether humanity survived that change was apparently up to me. No pressure. I spent the next day creating encrypted backups of all the files and uploading them to hidden servers around the internet. The Zeta was right. This data was explosive. Videos of government officials discussing alien contact. Audio recordings of conversations with Solarian intermediaries. Detailed technical specifications for defensive weapons that could fight the Vorlax. But I needed someone to help me make sense of it all and spread it properly. I researched investigative journalists who specialized in government secrets and whistleblower stories. One name kept appearing, Rebecca Walsh, a reporter for the Portland Independent who'd broken major stories about corporate corruption and classified military programs. At 3 p.m. on September 27th, I called her office. Rebecca Walsh speaking. Ms. Walsh, my name is Daniel Cooper. I have information about a government cover-up involving extraterrestrial contact and an imminent threat to Earth. I know how that sounds, but I have proof. Undeniable proof. There was a pause. Mr. Cooper, I get calls like this every week. People send me blurry photos of lights in the sky and conspiracy theories about Area 51. Unless you have something truly substantial. I have classified NASA footage from 1952 showing first contact. I have current satellite images of an alien invasion fleet 72 days from Earth. I have testimony from active government officials admitting to a 70-year cover-up. I have technology specifications that your experts can verify. This is not a theory. This is happening. Another pause, longer this time. Meet me at Jackson's coffee shop on 5th Street in 1 hour. Bring your evidence. If you're wasting my time, I'll write an article about how paranoid people harass journalists. I'll be there. I arrived early, chose a table in the back corner, and waited. Rebecca showed up exactly on time. A woman in her mid-30s with red hair pulled into a bun, sharp green eyes, and the tired look of someone who'd seen too much. She sat down without ordering coffee. Show me. I pulled out my laptop and opened one of the clearer video files, a recording from a 2008 meeting where NASA administrators discussed managing public perception of solar anomalies and maintaining the Solarian agreement. Their faces were clearly visible. Their voices were distinct. This wasn't grainy footage from a basement. This was professional quality from official equipment. Rebecca's expression changed as she watched. The skepticism faded, replaced by focused attention. When the video ended, she looked at me carefully. Who gave you this? An intermediary working with the beings who live in the sun. They're called Solarians. They. I know what they're called, she interrupted. I've been investigating rumors about them for 3 years. Every source either disappeared or recanted their story. I started thinking it was all disinformation. But this. She gestured at the laptop. This is real. Relief flooded through me. You believe me. I've seen enough to know that something is being hidden. Whether your alien encounter story is accurate or not, this footage is legitimate. I can verify it. The question is, what do you want me to do with it? Publish it. Get it to every news outlet you can. The public deserves to know what's coming. Rebecca shook her head. It's not that simple. The organizations that protect this secret have resources you can't imagine. They own media companies, control social media platforms, have judges and politicians in their pocket. If I publish this directly, it'll be labeled fake news within hours. My career will be destroyed, the story will be buried, and you'll disappear. So what do? We need corroboration. Other sources, other evidence, people willing to go on record. We need to build a case so strong that they can't dismiss it. That takes time. We don't have time. The invasion force arrives in 72 days. And if we rush this and it gets shut down immediately, we have 0 days. Trust me, I've been doing this for 15 years. We need to be smart. I wanted to argue, but she was right. I knew nothing about journalism or information warfare. She did. Okay, what's the first step? I know 3 other researchers who've found pieces of this puzzle, a former Air Force officer, a theoretical physicist, and a data analyst at a tech company. If I can get them to share what they know and go on record together, we create a network of credible sources. That's harder to silence than one person. How long will that take? 3 days, maybe 4. I'll need to contact them, verify their information, and convince them to speak publicly, which is dangerous for all of them. We can't wait 3 days. The organizations are looking for me right now. Then you need to hide. I have a safe location. A friend's cabin 2 hours north of here. No internet, no phone signal, completely off-grid. You stay there while I do the groundwork. When I have everything ready, I'll come get you, and we go public together. It made sense, but I hated the idea of hiding while she took all the risks. What about you? You're not worried they'll come after you? They've tried before. I'm careful. She stood up. Pack essentials for a week. Don't tell anyone where you're going. Don't use your credit cards or phone after tonight. Meet me here tomorrow at noon. I'll drive you to the cabin. Rebecca, thank you for believing me. She gave me a sad smile. Thank you for trusting me. Not many people would take this risk. The Solarians chose well. We shook hands, and she left. I felt hopeful for the first time since this nightmare began. Maybe we could actually do this. Maybe humanity would be ready when the Vorlax arrived. I should have known better. That night, at 11:47 p.m., someone knocked on my door. 3 sharp knocks, official and commanding. I froze, my hand on my laptop. Professor Whiskers hissed at the door. Daniel Cooper, this is Agent Thomas Bradford with the Department of Homeland Security. We need to speak with you about a matter of national security. Please open the door. My heart stopped. They'd found me already. Less than 48 hours, just like the Zeta predicted. I'm calling my lawyer, I shouted through the door. You can call whoever you want after we talk. This is urgent. Open the door now, or we'll open it for you. I looked around frantically. My apartment was on the 3rd floor, no fire escape, no balcony. Just windows that would kill me if I jumped. My phone and laptop held all the evidence. If they took those, everything was over. The knocking got louder. Mr. Cooper, we know about your meeting with Rebecca Walsh. We know about the files on your computer. We know you spoke with an unauthorized entity 2 nights ago. You're not in trouble yet, but you will be if you don't cooperate. Open this door. They knew about Rebecca. That meant she was in danger too. I had to warn her. But how? They'd taken my phone if I opened the door. I made a decision. I grabbed my phone and laptop, ran to my bathroom, and locked myself inside. It bought me maybe 2 minutes. I sent Rebecca a text. They're here. Don't go home. Destroy everything we discussed. The apartment door crashed open. Heavy footsteps. Multiple people. Mr. Cooper, don't make this harder than it needs to be. I opened my laptop, accessed the cloud where I'd stored backups, and started a transfer to an anonymous activist network that specialized in leaking classified information. If they caught me, at least the data would survive. Upload, 23%, 31%, 44%. The bathroom door shook as they tried to force it open. Upload, 58%, 67%. Break it down. A massive crash. The door frame splintered. Upload, 81%, 93%. The door broke completely. 3 men in dark suits pushed through. One grabbed my arm while another took my laptop. Upload, 100%. Transfer complete. Upload successful, I said, smiling despite my terror. The data's out there now. You can't stop it. Agent Bradford, a stern man in his 50s with gray hair and cold blue eyes, looked at my laptop screen. His expression darkened. You just made a very serious mistake, Mr. Cooper. The information you stole is classified at the highest levels. Sharing it is an act of treason. Treason? I'm trying to save humanity. You're interfering with protocols that have kept this planet safe for 70 years. You have no idea what you've done. They handcuffed me and led me out of my apartment. Mrs. Patterson from next door was peeking out, her face worried. Please take care of my cat, I called to her. His name is Professor Whiskers. He likes tuna. She nodded, tears in her eyes. They pushed me into a black SUV. As we drove away, I saw my apartment building disappear behind us. I thought about Rebecca, hoping she'd gotten my message. I thought about the Solarians, wondering if they knew I'd failed. I thought about the Vorlax, still approaching, and humanity's complete unpreparedness for what was coming. We drove for 2 hours, leaving Portland completely. We ended up at what looked like an abandoned military base in the middle of nowhere. They took me into a concrete building, down several flights of stairs, and into a small, windowless room with a metal table and 2 chairs. Agent Bradford sat across from me. "You're going to tell me everything. Who contacted you, what they told you, and who else knows about this. You cooperate, and maybe we can make this easier for you." "I want a lawyer. This is a matter of national security. You don't get a lawyer. That's unconstitutional. The Constitution doesn't apply when alien invasions are involved. Now talk." I stayed silent. He sighed, pulled out a small device that looked like a tablet, and showed me a photo. It was Rebecca Walsh, unconscious, strapped to a chair in a room similar to this one. "We picked up Ms. Walsh 30 minutes ago. She's currently being processed. If you don't cooperate, she'll undergo the same memory removal procedure that we use on all unauthorized contacts. She'll forget everything, this story, her career, probably even her own name. The process isn't perfect. Sometimes people come out different." Rage and fear battled inside me. "You can't do this. She's innocent." "No one who knows the truth is innocent. The truth is dangerous. We protect humanity by controlling who knows what and when. That's not villainy, it's responsibility. By killing researchers? By silencing witnesses. We do what's necessary. The Solarians understand this. They approved these methods because they know humanity isn't ready for full disclosure. You think you're a hero, but you're actually making things worse. If the general public panics about the Vorlax, society will collapse before the invasion even arrives. We need calm and order to mount a proper defense. Then why not tell the truth in a controlled way? Why not prepare people gradually? Because people are stupid and irrational. They'll demand action we can't provide. They'll hoard resources, attack each other, lose faith in institutions. The only way to save civilization is to keep most people in the dark until the last possible moment." I stared at him, realizing he actually believed this. In his mind, he was protecting humanity. "What happens to me now?" "That depends on you. Tell me where else you sent the data, help us contain the leak, and you'll live. You'll have your memories adjusted, but you'll live. Refuse, and you'll disappear completely. Your choice." I thought about the upload that had completed. The data was already spreading across encrypted networks that specialized in exposing government secrets. By morning, thousands of people would have copies. The organizations couldn't stop them all. But Bradford didn't need to know that yet. "I'll talk," I lied. "But I need to know Rebecca is safe first." He smiled coldly. "Smart choice. We'll begin the debriefing in the morning. For now, rest. You've earned it." They took me to a small cell, just a bed, a toilet, and nothing else. The door locked with an ominous click. I lay on the hard mattress, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I'd made the right choices. The data was out there, but I was captured. Rebecca was captured. The Zeta had warned me this would be difficult, but I hadn't really understood until now. 71 days until the Vorlax arrived. And I was locked in a secret government facility with no way to help anyone. I didn't sleep. How could I? Every hour that passed was an hour wasted while the Vorlax got closer. I paced my tiny cell, trying to think of a way out. The walls were solid concrete. The door was heavy steel with no handle on the inside. There were no windows, no vents big enough to crawl through, no obvious weaknesses. At 6 a.m., a guard brought me breakfast, bland oatmeal and lukewarm coffee. He didn't speak, just slid the tray through a slot in the door and left. I ate mechanically, my mind elsewhere. At 8 a.m., Agent Bradford returned with another man, younger, maybe 30, with dark skin and worried eyes. He introduced himself as Dr. Marcus Washington, a neurologist specializing in memory modification. "I'm here to explain the procedure," he said quietly. It's relatively painless. We use targeted electromagnetic pulses to disrupt specific neural pathways associated with recent memories. You'll forget the past 3 weeks, the signal, the zeta, Rebecca, everything. You'll wake up in your apartment believing you've just recovered from a bad flu. Your life continues normally. Except I won't be me anymore. You'll have erased part of my mind. Dr. Washington looked uncomfortable. It's for your own good. Living with this knowledge when you can't act on it, it destroys people. I've seen it. And Rebecca. She'll receive the same treatment. You'll both be better off. No. I stood up. I won't let you erase what I know. Humanity has 71 days to prepare for an invasion, and you want to waste time protecting a secret that doesn't matter anymore. The Vorlax don't care about your protocols or your cover-ups. They're coming regardless. Agent Bradford stepped forward. The Vorlax situation is being handled by the appropriate authorities. We have defensive technologies provided by the Solarians. We have plans in place. Your interference helps no one. Then why lock me up? If you have everything under control, why silence me? He didn't answer, which told me everything. They weren't ready. They were scared. And they were hiding behind secrecy because admitting the truth would expose their failure. Before I could say more, alarms blared throughout the facility. Red lights flashed. Agent Bradford's phone rang, and his expression changed as he listened. What do you mean, everywhere? He snapped. How many copies? That's impossible. Find the source and shut it down. Now. He hung up and glared at me. What did you do? I told you. I uploaded the data before you caught me. It's spreading across the internet as we speak. Your secret is over. His face turned red with anger. Do you have any idea what you've done? The panic this will cause. Yes. And I'd do it again. He moved toward me, hand raised, but Dr. Washington grabbed his arm. Violence won't help. The damage is done. Bradford took a deep breath, regaining control. We can still manage this. Most people won't believe it. We'll label it as an elaborate hoax, a viral marketing campaign for a movie. Our media contacts will push that narrative. What about the technical specifications in those files? The satellite images? The NASA footage? You can't fake all of that. We've faked more for less. Trust me, Mr. Cooper. This changes nothing. But it did change something. I could hear it in his voice. Uncertainty. Fear. The organizations had operated in shadow for 70 years, and suddenly that shadow was disappearing. They weren't prepared for exposure. The alarm stopped. An announcement came over the intercom. All personnel to conference room B immediately. Code black situation. Bradford cursed and left, locking the door behind him. Dr. Washington hesitated, looking at me with something like sympathy. I don't agree with everything they do, he said quietly. But they're not evil. They genuinely believe they're protecting humanity. By lying? By killing? By treating people like problems to be managed. Sometimes protection requires difficult choices. The Solarians understood that when they agreed to the secrecy protocols. Did the Solarians agree to murder researchers? To erase people's memories? Or did the organizations add those policies themselves? He looked away. I don't know the full history. I just do my job. You modify people's minds against their will. That's not a job, it's a crime. I make people happier. I remove trauma, pain, dangerous obsessions. Most of my patients are grateful. Most of your patients don't remember consenting. That's not gratitude, it's manipulation. He flinched like I'd hit him. For a moment, he looked like he might say something important. Then he shook his head and left, locking me in again. I sat down, frustrated but also strangely hopeful. The data was spreading. People were seeing the truth. Even if the organizations tried to suppress it, enough people would investigate. Some would believe. Some would demand answers. Hours passed. No one came. I heard distant sounds, people running, phones ringing, raised voices. The facility was in chaos, which meant my upload was working. At 2 p.m., something unexpected happened. The door unlocked. I waited, expecting guards, but instead, Dr. Washington appeared alone. He looked terrified. "Come with me. Quickly. We don't have much time." "What? Why?" "Because I made a terrible mistake, and I'm trying to fix it." He grabbed my arm, pulling me into the hallway. 3 years ago, I modified the memories of a climate scientist named Jennifer Hayes. She'd discovered proof that certain corporations were deliberately suppressing clean energy technology. The organizations hired me to make her forget. I did my job. She went home, forgot everything, and died in a car accident 2 weeks later. I thought it was coincidence. It wasn't. We moved through empty corridors. Everyone was apparently at the emergency meeting. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying I've been complicit in covering up crimes far worse than alien contact. I've erased the memories of journalists, scientists, activists, anyone who got too close to inconvenient truths. I told myself it was for the greater good. I was wrong. You were right. This is a crime." We reached a stairwell. He led me up instead of down. "Where are we going?" "There's an exit on the east side of the building. It's not monitored during code black emergencies because all security personnel are focused on the main areas. If we're fast, we can get you out." "What about Rebecca?" "She's in Building C, on the other side of the compound. I can't get you both. You'll have to choose, escape now, or stay and try to save her and probably fail." It wasn't really a choice. "Take me to Rebecca." "That's suicide. There are at least 20 armed guards between here and Building C. Then I die trying. I'm not leaving her." He stared at me, then nodded. "You're either very brave or very stupid. Come on." We changed direction, moving toward the main compound. Dr. Washington had access codes that opened most doors. We made it surprisingly far before we encountered anyone. A guard rounded the corner, saw us, and reached for his radio. Dr. Washington didn't hesitate. He pulled out a small device and pressed it against the guard's neck. The man collapsed instantly. "EMP stunner," Dr. Washington explained. "Non-lethal. He'll wake up in 10 minutes with a headache." We kept moving. Building C was connected by an underground tunnel. We descended into darkness, using Dr. Washington's phone flashlight to navigate. "Why are you helping me?" I asked as we walked. "Because you gave me the courage to do the right thing. When you called me a criminal, something broke inside me. I've been justifying my actions for years, but hearing someone say it out loud, I couldn't deny it anymore. If I'm going to hell for what I've done, at least I can try to balance the scales first." We reached Building C and climbed to the second floor. Dr. Washington checked a tablet. "She's in room 2C. 2 guards outside. Can you stun both of them?" "I can stun one. You'll have to handle the other." "I'm a software engineer, not a fighter." "Then improvise." We approached the corner. Dr. Washington peeked around, then held up 2 fingers, confirming 2 guards. He counted down silently. 3, 2, 1. We rushed around the corner. Dr. Washington stunned the first guard instantly. The second one had time to react, reaching for his weapon. I did the only thing I could think of. I tackled him. We crashed to the floor. He was bigger and stronger, and he immediately started winning the fight. His fist connected with my jaw, sending stars across my vision. He was reaching for his gun when Dr. Washington stunned him too. I lay there, breathing hard, my face throbbing. I hate this. I hate all of this. Welcome to heroism. It's less glamorous than movies suggest. He helped me up and unlocked room 2C. Rebecca was strapped to a chair, unconscious but breathing. Medical equipment surrounded her, monitoring her vitals. Dr. Washington checked the machines. They haven't started the procedure yet. She's just sedated. Lucky. He began disconnecting her from the equipment and removing the restraints. I helped, my hands shaking from adrenaline and fear. How do we get out of here? I asked. We don't. Not conventionally. But I have a plan. He pulled out his phone and made a call. It's me. I need extraction. Building C, room 2C. 2 civilians, high priority. Yes, I know what I'm asking. Do it anyway. He hung up. I have friends who disagree with how these organizations operate. They've been waiting for the right moment to act. This is it. Who are they? Let's just call them the resistance. People inside various agencies who want to end the secrecy and give humanity the truth. We're small, but we're growing. Rebecca started waking up, groaning. Her eyes fluttered open, unfocused. Daniel? What? Where am I? You're safe. We're getting you out. The story, did you? The data is spreading across the internet. Millions of people have access to it now. The secret is out. She smiled weakly. Good. That's good. An explosion rocked the building. Alarms blared again. Dr. Washington checked his phone. Our ride is here. That blast was a distraction. Come on. He helped Rebecca to her feet. She was still groggy but could walk with support. We moved back into the hallway, now filled with smoke from the explosion. Guards ran past us, heading toward the blast site, too focused on the emergency to notice us. We made it outside. A helicopter sat in the compound's center courtyard, rotors spinning. A woman in pilot gear waved frantically at us. We ran across the open ground. Gunfire erupted behind us. Someone had noticed our escape. Bullets hit the concrete near my feet. I didn't look back, just kept running. We reached the helicopter and climbed inside. The pilot immediately lifted off. Through the open door, I saw Agent Bradford emerge from a building, pointing at us, shouting orders. Guards fired at the helicopter, but we were already too high. Everyone okay? The pilot shouted over the noise. Define okay, I shouted back. She laughed. Fair enough. I'm Captain Sarah Chen, U.S. Air Force, retired. Well, technically not retired. Technically I'm AWOL as of about 10 minutes ago. But who's counting? Thank you for this. For risking everything. Thank Dr. Washington. He's the one who convinced me the time was right. Besides, I've been wanting to punch Agent Bradford's smug face for 3 years. This is almost as good. As we flew away from the compound, I looked down at the facility shrinking below us. Somewhere in there, people were panicking about the data leak, trying to control a situation that had already spiraled beyond their control. The Solarian secret was out. Humanity knew the truth. Now we just had to survive long enough to do something about it. We landed at a small airfield 3 hours away. Captain Chen knew people who let us hide in a warehouse while we figured out our next move. Rebecca recovered from the sedation quickly. Within an hour, she was on a borrowed laptop, checking the impact of our data release. It's bigger than I expected, she said, scrolling through news sites. Major networks are covering it. Scientists are analyzing the technical specs. Government officials are being asked questions. They can't suppress this. Dr. Washington sat in the corner, looking guilty. They'll send teams after us. They won't stop. Let them come, Captain Chen said, cleaning her pistol. I've got friends in the military who are tired of the lies. Real soldiers who want to protect Earth, not protect secrets. I checked my phone. The anonymous activist network had spread the files to over 2 million people in just 12 hours. Forums were exploding with discussions. Experts were confirming the authenticity of the NASA footage. Then I saw something that made my blood run cold. A news alert, breaking, mysterious object detected near Jupiter. Scientists baffled. I clicked the link. Astronomers had spotted the Vorlax ship. It was closer than the Zeta had predicted, not 70 days away, but 43 days. We have less time than we thought, I announced. The invasion fleet is ahead of schedule. Everyone stopped what they were doing. Rebecca stood up. Then we can't just hide. We need to go on the offensive. We need to force the government to admit the truth and start preparing. How? I asked. We're fugitives with no resources. We have the resistance, Dr. Washington said. Military personnel, scientists, government insiders who are ready to expose everything. We just need to coordinate them. Captain Chen made a call. Within 2 hours, 5 people arrived at the warehouse, a Navy commander, 2 NASA scientists, a Pentagon analyst, and a former CIA agent. They all had similar stories. They'd known pieces of the truth, they'd been silenced or threatened, and they were done staying quiet. We spent the night planning. The resistance had access to classified facilities, communication networks, and evidence that confirmed everything in my files. Together, we could create an undeniable case. Our plan was simple but dangerous. Break into a live congressional hearing, present the evidence directly to lawmakers on national television, and force immediate action. It was scheduled for 3 days from now. The congressional hearing was about defense spending. Perfect cover. The resistance smuggled us into the building disguised as staff members. Rebecca carried a tablet with all our evidence. I had a microphone transmitter that could override the room's audio system. The hearing room was packed. Senators, military officials, journalists, cameras. Agent Bradford was there too, sitting in the back, scanning the crowd. He hadn't spotted us yet. We waited for the right moment. When the defense secretary started talking about future threats to national security, Rebecca stood up. "The future is 40 days away," she shouted. Security moved toward her, but Captain Chen and the Navy commander blocked them. I activated the transmitter. "My name is Daniel Cooper. 40 days from now, an alien invasion force will reach Earth. Our government has known about extraterrestrial life since 1952 and has been hiding it from you. The evidence is now being broadcast to every screen in this room." The chamber's displays switched from the secretary's presentation to our files. NASA footage played. Satellite images of the Vorlax ship appeared. Audio of government officials discussing the Solarians filled the room. Chaos erupted. Senators shouted questions. Security tried to shut down the broadcast, but our people in the control room locked them out. News cameras captured everything. This was going out live to the entire country. Agent Bradford rushed toward us, but the former CIA agent intercepted him. "It's over, Bradford. The secret died today." Bradford's face was furious. "You've doomed us all. People will panic. People will fight," I said. "That's what humans do. We fight." The defense secretary grabbed a microphone. "Turn those screens off. This is a hoax." But one of the NASA scientists in the audience stood up. "It's not a hoax. I've worked on the Solarian project for 12 years. Everything they're showing you is real. The alien ship is real. We've been tracking it for months." More people started speaking up, military officers who'd seen classified briefings, scientists who'd analyzed the data. The truth was pouring out from everywhere. Then something unexpected happened. The chamber's main screen flickered and changed. The Zeta appeared, its gray face filling the display. "People of Earth," it said, its voice transmitting through every speaker. "We are the Zeta. We have been asked by the Solarians to confirm what you are learning today. Your governments have kept you in darkness. That darkness must end now. The Vorlax arrive in 41 days. You must prepare." The room fell completely silent. The Zeta continued. "We offer technology and guidance. But you must act quickly. Unite your nations. Build defenses. Trust the Solarians' plan. This is your only chance for survival." The image disappeared. Everyone in the hearing room sat in stunned silence. Then the President of the United States appeared on screen from the White House. She looked shaken but determined. "My fellow Americans, what you just witnessed is real. I am authorizing the immediate release of all classified information regarding extraterrestrial contact. We will address the nation tonight at 8 p.m. with full disclosure. Until then, please remain calm. We will get through this together." Rebecca grabbed my hand, tears in her eyes. "We did it. We actually did it." But I wasn't celebrating yet, because I saw Agent Bradford leaving the room, making a phone call, and he looked more determined than defeated. The truth was out. But the fight was just beginning. Orchestrated concise narrative arc towards satisfying conclusion. Good. I'm making progress. Parts 6 and 7 are shorter and more concise while still advancing the story. Now I need parts 8 and 9 to wrap everything up. Let me continue with the climax and resolution, keeping them concise but satisfying. The world transformed overnight. The president's address confirmed everything. Footage of Solarian structures inside the sun played on every news channel. The Vorlax threat was explained in detail. Emergency sessions were called at the United Nations. But not everyone accepted it peacefully. Riots broke out in major cities. Some people claimed it was all fake. Religious groups argued about what it meant. Some countries blamed others for keeping the secret. The panic that Agent Bradford had warned about was happening. 40 days became 30 days. Then 20. I worked with NASA scientists to implement the defensive technology the Zeta had provided. We built energy shields that could protect Earth's atmosphere. We modified satellites into weapons platforms. We coordinated with the military across the globe. Rebecca became the face of the disclosure movement, giving interviews and keeping the public informed. Dr. Washington helped deprogram other victims of memory modification. Captain Chen trained volunteer defense forces. The resistance members who'd helped us became heroes. Even Agent Bradford, after being arrested, eventually cooperated, admitting that he'd lost sight of the mission's original purpose. With 10 days remaining, the Zeta contacted me again. This time, it appeared at a secure NASA facility where hundreds of people could witness it. You have done well, it told the assembled crowd. Earth's defenses are stronger than we predicted. The Solarians are impressed by your species' resilience. Will we survive? I asked. That depends on you. The Vorlax are powerful, but they are not invincible. If you fight with unity and courage, you have a chance. The Solarians will provide support. They will weaken the Vorlax ships as they pass through the sun's corona. But the final battle must be yours. 5 days before the invasion, something miraculous happened. For the first time in human history, every nation on Earth agreed to work together. The United Global Defense Force was created. Resources were shared. Old enemies became allies. We watched the Vorlax ship approach on massive screens at mission control. It was enormous, bigger than our moon, covered in weapons we barely understood. The Solarians kept their promise. As the ship passed near the sun, brilliant beams of energy struck it from within the star. The Vorlax shields flickered and weakened. Earth's weapons fired. Missiles, lasers, energy pulses, everything we had. The battle lasted 6 hours. We lost 17 satellites and hundreds of brave pilots who flew defensive fighters into space. But the Vorlax ship was damaged. Badly damaged. It retreated, limping away from Earth, sending a message that our scientists translated, "This world is defended. We withdraw." The entire planet celebrated. Strangers hugged in the streets. People cried with relief. We had survived. But I knew this was just the beginning. 6 months after the Vorlax retreat, the world was completely different. The Solarians established formal diplomatic relations with Earth. Ambassadors, energy beings in protective suits, visited the United Nations. They shared knowledge, technology, and wisdom accumulated over billions of years. We learned we weren't alone in the galaxy. There were thousands of intelligent species, entire civilizations spread across the stars. The Galactic Accord invited humanity to join as a junior member. I became an advisor to the United Global Space Program, helping integrate Solarian technology with human innovation. It turned out that my simple curiosity and persistence had changed the course of human history. Rebecca won a Pulitzer Prize for her reporting. She wrote a book about the disclosure called The Sun's Secret, which became required reading in schools worldwide. Dr. Washington opened a clinic helping people recover from the memory modifications performed by the old organizations. He dedicated his life to fixing the harm he'd once caused. Captain Chen became the first human to train with Solarian Defense Forces. She said she wanted to be ready in case the Vorlax came back. The organizations that had kept the secret were disbanded. Some members faced trial, while others, like Agent Bradford, cooperated with the new transparency initiatives. He admitted in testimony that the secrecy had started with good intentions but had become corrupted by power and fear. Maya Torres, the woman who'd first warned me in the park, came out of hiding. She joined the resistance publicly and helped establish the Truth Commission, ensuring that governments could never hide such important information again. 1 year after first detecting the signal, I stood on the rooftop of my apartment building, the same place I'd looked at stars as a lonely hobby. But I wasn't alone anymore. Rebecca joined me, along with Dr. Washington, Captain Chen, and other friends I'd made during our journey. Professor Whiskers purred in my arms, unbothered by how much the world had changed. We looked up at the sun, now knowing it wasn't just a ball of fire but a home to millions of wise, ancient beings who'd protected us for millennia. Do you ever regret it? Rebecca asked. Your normal, boring life was simpler. I thought about it. The fear, the danger, the nights I couldn't sleep. But also the truth we'd uncovered, the unity we'd helped create, the future we'd secured. No, I said. Normal was safe, but it wasn't real. I'd rather live in a world where we know the truth, even if it's scary, than a comfortable lie. The sun began to set, painting the sky in brilliant oranges and purples. Somewhere inside that star, the Solarians were watching us, probably proud of how far we'd come. Humanity had joined the galactic community. We had allies, friends among the stars. We had knowledge that previous generations could only dream about. And it all started because one curious person couldn't stop looking at a signal that shouldn't have existed. My name is Daniel Cooper. I'm a software engineer from Portland, Oregon. And I helped save the world by refusing to ignore the truth. The future is vast and full of wonders we're only beginning to understand. New planets to explore. New species to meet. New challenges to face. But we'll face them together. Humans and Solarians, Earth and the stars. Because that's what we do. We're curious. We're brave. And we never stop reaching for the impossible. The sun hides a secret civilization. But it's not a secret anymore. And that makes all the difference. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, the truth might be hidden, but it's never truly lost. And sometimes, all it takes is one curious person to change everything. I'll see you in the next story. Stay inspired, stay curious, and keep reaching for the stars.